How's it going, everybody? This is Gnomekick, and I'm going to be going over Xerath, who I play as support. As you know, he's a great AP support that bullies the lane, and he also has the potential to being that early to mid-game carry. What makes Xerath so much fun to play is blowing somebody up from that fog of war. If you can get fed on him early, you're definitely going to have a fun rest of the game. Before we go into the runes and how to use this playstyle, let's first quickly go over the pros and cons of Xerath's support. Starting off, Xerath's kit is pretty strong. His abilities are long range, he has a slow, a stun, and the ability to regain his mana back. Early game he forces their ADC off the minion wave and makes them pay attention to the positioning, which in turn reduces their early farm. He also has long range abilities as tools to check bushes as well as objectives. However, Xerath definitely has some cons. I always have a boner when I play with him, which makes it very difficult to play because now I only have one hand to work with. So make sure to masturbate thoroughly prior to picking Xerath. Let's quickly go over the runes that I run for Xerath support. You should always go the sorcery tree, as it will give you the best chance of turning your early game champion into that mid game monster. I mainly go Arcane Comet, as I first lead with my W, the Eye of Destruction. It slows the enemy champion, making it less likely that they avoid that Arcane Comet damage. Mana Ban is also a must for that early game mana. I normally rush the 10 stacks as quickly as possible so I can get that 1% mana regen. Finally, I go Scorch over Gathering Storm for that early harass damage. Next, I like to go into the Inspiration tree, which allows me to focus on gold items, which helps snowball Xerath. First, I go the Magical Boots, and secondly, I go the Futures Market because I am American and I love to increase my debt. Finally, I like to go the two adaptive force choices, increasing my early output and the health to increase my survivability early on. Since Comet misses a lot of the time on mobile champions, I tend to go Ari instead, so just pay attention to who you're playing against. You will always start your W level 1 as it provides the most damage as well as the slow. Early game mainly hitting an ability only when the mana flow ban cooldown is up for that max efficiency. I also auto attack creeps to utilize Xerath's passive. Mana flow plus that passive together essentially means your W does not cost mana and you can harass a lot more. On my first back, I always get a Dark Seal and I try to get 2 Amplifying Tomes, and remember, Futures Market definitely comes in handy here to get that early advantage. Once you do get that early advantage, you're going to want to start big dicking kids. It's best to just jam it down their throat and put them out of their misery. If you don't do it early, they might think they have a chance to come back, so don't be cruel. Because it's still the early game, no one has magic resistance, but you still have a lot of that ability power. Use that advantage to start dumpstering kids. But just remember, you are a glass cannon, so positioning is key on Xerath, and you can easily throw a game if you allow the team to come back. It's important to use Xerath's long range to your advantage. Here I did not check the Bushwood's abilities, and I died, and that was right after calling them all dog water. If you're not good at Xerath just yet, that's alright. He's great at delaying the enemy pushes and clearing minions, and always use that range of his abilities to your advantage as his Q is just inside the fog of war. Now let's look at that trash can Lulu's point of view. Wow, what a terrible player. The last bit of advice I'll leave you with is how to use his ult. People tend to overjuke themselves, and over the game, I'll learn how each person jukes, so when it comes time to dunk on kids, you'll know what to do. And in this case, the talent is a straight line Andy. But that's all I have, so don't forget to like and subscribe to learn some more tips and tricks on some other AP support champions.